The session not has started yet, ma. Wait for some time. We'll start at 7 o'clock. A very fine good evening, all of you. If you any of your friends are not able to join this session here in Google Meet, in the WhatsApp group I have shared the live stream link. I'm sharing it here also. Please share it with your friends so that they can also see. I have shared the YouTube link live stream which we are doing right now. Please share it with your friends if they are not able to join the Google Meet. We have an upper limit of 100 people, so please share it with them. All right? And am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So during this whole session, please try to keep yourself on mute. If you have any doubts, we'll have a session. We'll have a Q&A session at the end so that you can ask your doubts about menu labeling, about the course, about everything. But please keep your doubts till the end so that I can address all of it at the same time. Very fine. Good evening, all of you. I think all of you are aware today we are going to do an awareness session on menu labeling. So, this session is being brought to you by Nutri Labeling Solutions, which is an entity. It is a startup which was started by me in order to teach and in order also to do menu labeling for restaurants and food and beverage establishments. Myself, Kalevani Dureraju. I am the CEO and also the founder of Nutri Solutions. I'm a culinary nutritionist, and this Nutri Solutions, in short, I'll refer to as NLS from now on. NLS is MSME registered, and today's session will be moderated by me completely. All right. So today in this 1 hour session, 1 hour 45 minutes to 1 hour session, we'll be knowing what is menu labeling, what is the FSSAI regulations regarding menu labeling, what are the pros and cons, that is what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages of menu labeling, what are the job prospects you can expect that can come in future and also present regarding to menu labeling, and also the future of menu labeling in developing countries like India. And we'll see also about Nutri Labeling Solutions, which is the organization which is moderating this session today. Yeah. So, most of your nutrition students, I think you are aware of food labeling or nutrition labeling, but I'll explain you what is menu labeling. So, this menu labeling is 1 minute. So, this menu labeling is the practice of displaying the nutritional information. This nutritional information can be calorie related information, macronutrients, or micronutrient related information, which is supposed to be displayed on the menu of food service establishments. I think all of you are aware of the back of the labeling packaging food. Like you will see at the in most of the mostly you have to do it in all the packets, like either it be biscuit or chips or cracks or whatever it is. There will be a small box which is given at the back of the package, which tells you, right, what is the serving size, how much calories, how much fat, and everything. So very similar to that, the labeling, if it is done on the menu of establishments, we call it as menu labeling. Okay. Simply, this should help people to make well informed choices. Like if people are looking to order low fat options or low sodium options or low calorie options, this information will help them. Since the serving size or portion size is also given on these labels, it will help them order smaller portion sizes if they want to. In a way, it will help promote public health, because most of the diseases that we see nowadays, the non-communicable ones, it all starts with the root cause of excess calorie intake, excess energy intake. So it is supposedly helping in public health again also, and it also gives a different perspective to your menu. Not most of the menus, as you know, they consist of the name and also the money, how much cost the particular food is. But if more extra information is given, it works as a selling point also. So it gives again like a competitive advantage to the particular establishment. Example can look like this. I have added a picture, you can see. So now, this menu labeling used to be something which was done in all developed countries, right? There are a lot of countries like in US, in Japan, and also in Finland. This is completely mandatory to be done. But in India, till 2020 or 2019, there were no regulations related to this menu labeling. FSSA just used to say that if you want to do it, you can do it on a voluntary basis, but it's not mandatory. It used to be like that. But then now it is not so. According to the sub-regulations 2.4.6 of food safety and standards, the labeling and packaging regulations amendment of 2020, it was dated last year in 2020 August, right? In the requirements for display of information in food service establishments, this was made mandatory from last year 2022 in July month, right? But the regulations came very long back, but it was made mandatory recently only. Under this FSS Act, I think all of you know FSS Act. Under that section 16(5), this is mandatory. But now you have to keep in mind that not for all food and beverage establishments it is not mandatory. It is mandatory for the following establishments. Like if there is a five-star hotel or a 4, 3, 1-star hotel, but if they have a central license, for them it is applicable. For restaurants, for flight caterers, for railway caterers who have a central license, for them it is mandatory. And also for people who have state license. I think all of you know FSSAI has two different types of licenses: state license and central license. Even if the hotel or a restaurant has a state license, like state license in the sense they can operate within Tamil Nadu or within Andhra Pradesh or within Himachal, so like that. But if they have more than 10 outlets, even with the state license, if they have more than 10 outlets, they are also liable to do this menu labeling. And also all kinds of food and beverage establishments, let it be a restaurant bar, let it be a club, or let it be a canteen or a cloud kitchen, whosoever it is, if they have more than 10, then there also it is mandatory, right? And also in departmental canteens located in central government institutions, whether they have branches or not, but if it is located in a central government institution, let it be an university or let it be an office, let it be a registry, over there if they have a food establishment, there also menu labeling is compulsory. And also all these establishments, if they sell food in an e-commerce platform like Zomato or Swiggy or Food Panda or any type of platform which sells food online, over there also this menu labeling is mandatory. So standalone properties which operate on a state license but they have less than 10 outlets here, so for them it doesn't apply, but for remaining all other people it applies, this menu labeling. Hope you're clear on for whom this menu labeling is very important. It's not just important, it is kind of mandatory. In case if they don't do this menu labeling, if you complain, if somebody complains about the establishment, there can be questioning for the owner or for the people who are working there. And there have been instances in which the directors of FSSA have told publicly in press meets that it can go till the closure of the restaurant also if they don't do this menu labeling properly, right? So now FSSA regulations on menu labeling, it consists of two parts. Okay, one thing is the actual information which we display on the menu card or the menu board or digital menus, any kind of thing which is display on a complete display. Okay, this is mandatory information, right? Another one is, actually there are two different things which have to be done. The second one is the extra information which we have to give to the customer if he requests it. So basically, even if the customer does not ask for it, you have to display it in the menu. But if the customer asks for extra information, then also we have to give them information, right? So now let us see, divided into two parts, like the mandatory one and the information which has to be given upon request. In the mandatory information, a few things must be given. What are those? First thing is the calorific value, that is the energy value of the food, how much calorie is contained in the particular food, and also what is the serving size. Serving size and calorie value of the food has to be given mandatorily, either on the menu card or in the digital menu or in the website or in the booklet, whatever we give to the customers while they order the food, right? Along with the serving size and calorie value, we also have to give this particular sentence: an average active adult requires about 2000 kilocalories in a particular day. However, the calorie requirements can vary. I think since you're nutrition students, you might know this already. According to RDA values, if we see for different physiological category, for different gender, for different ages, this calorie value will change. But on a general sense, we say that a person needs 2000 kilocalories, right? So this sentence also has to be given. Now, we have to note one point here, that around 25% deviation is allowed in the calorific value, which means If you give a particular food, if a particular food contains 100 calories, just for an example, you calculated it and you have displayed it saying that this particular food contains 100 calories. But when the inspector comes and collects your food and he does a calorific value calculation from his side, if the food contains more than 100, but the value which is more than 100, if it is less than 25 percentage deviation or equal to 25 percentage deviation, it's okay. They'll not question you further. This information is given so that we don't overestimate or underestimate the calorific value of the foods. We should not cheat the customers, no, telling that this is a low calorie food. For that, this regulation is given. Right. So first mandatory information is the nutrition value and also the serving size of the particular food. This is the first mandatory information. Till now, if there is any doubt, please write it down so that I can address it to you at the end of this session. Okay. The second mandatory information that has to be displayed is that allergy content. Like, as you know, there are major allergens which many people are allergic to, like for example gluten, crustaceans, seafoods, egg, milk products. Like this, a few classes we have divided the foods into, like total 8 or 9 different classifications are there of these allergens. And if the dish or if the menu consists of any of these allergens, then we have to indicate it in the menu. This is because, say for example, a customer comes to your hotel and they have prawn allergy. Okay, by mistake, if they order a food which contains prawns without knowing that it contains prawns, maybe the name is a very fancy name, you did not mention the word prawns in the menu, then they might order that food and they can get an allergy attack. No, we are nutrition students, we know that if there is a allergy related thing and the people eat it, it can lead to anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis kya hai? It is a very severe allergic reaction which can even lead to death of a person, right? So this is mandatory information. If there is any allergy like inducing food which is present in the particular menu item or the dish, it has to be displayed in the menu card. So how will you display it? We have to display it using the symbols which are given below, because we cannot write everything. No, it has to be given in a pictorial form. Like if there is crab, we mention the crab symbol. If there is peanuts, we give the peanut symbol, something like that. Right. So this is the second important mandatory information that has to be given. Next, the third important mandatory information that you have to give is whether the food is a vegetarian food or it is a non-vegetarian food. Okay. Earlier we used to have green color for veg and red color for non-veg, but now FSSAI has changed the symbol. Now for vegetarian foods we use a dark color green circle and surrounded by a dark green box. Whereas for non-veg foods, we use a triangle. We don't use a circle. We use a triangle, brown color, surrounded by a square, which is again brown in color. Okay. So from the beginning, if you see, three different informations must be given mandatorily on a menu. First thing is the calorific information and serving size. Second is the allergen details, allergen related information in the menu. And the third one is whether the food is vegetarian or it is non-vegetarian, right? Till now, whatever we saw, it is mandatory information, meaning any menu should contain this. We have seen the list of organizations, right? In those organizations, this has to be displayed. Now, I told you, no, there are two different parts to this. One thing which has to be given on display for everybody to see, but a few other things which should be given to the customer if he requests for it. Say, for example, I go to a restaurant, I see that the menu has only the calorie related information, but I want to know how much fat the particular food product contains. Now, according to FSSI, I can ask the restaurant to give me a full, complete nutrition panel of the food that they are serving to me. If I want to know the protein content, carbohydrate content, fiber content, sugar content, if I want to know how much vitamins, how much minerals are present, how much trans fat is present, all this information should also be provided by an establishment. If a customer asks for this information and the establishment is not able to provide this information, the customer can file a court case against them, right? So now, on request of the customer, the following information can must be provided to them. Energy value, obviously this is mandatory. Other than this, macronutrient information like protein, carbohydrate, sugar content, these things. And if there is any health claim, and what is the support that you give for the health claim, numerical value related to the vitamins and minerals, declaration per serving, जो भी आप declare कर रहे हो, like this much vitamins, this much minerals are there, then we say for how much it is present, that also we have to give. If you say how much trans fat and also saturated fat which is present, similar to the energy value, this also, here also 25% deviation is allowed in the menu. Okay, so this information must be provided if the customer asks for it deliberately. Now, the second information that you have to provide to the customer is the information related to additives. You know what are additives? Additives are ingredients which are added to the food to enhance a particular, it can be for flavor or it can be taste, it can be for taste or aroma or consistency or texture. Those are additives, right? Now, if the customer asks, if do you add Ajinomoto is nothing but monosodium glutamate, right? MSG. If you add MSG to the food, if the customer asks the person, they should be able to give for how much food they add, how much monosodium glutamate, right? And it has to be written very clearly that if monosodium glutamate is added to the particular food, it should not be eaten by infants below 12 months. Okay, it should be indicated in the booklet that we'll be giving to the customer. This information has to be given. Okay, now if you have any artificial sweetener added, like non-calorific sweetener we say na, if it is added, if the food contains caffeine, not, this is not naturally present caffeine, there are a few foods in which we add extracted caffeine na, those foods they also should be mentioned in the booklet. If it has any polyols added, if it has any polydextrose added, if there is any plant ester which is added into the food, and what is the upper limit of consumption of these added additives, this also must be provided to the consumer. If they request for it, if we do not provide it, they can file a case on us, I mean the establishment, right? The third information that has to be given to the customer on request is the information related to organic food. If the establishment tells that we serve organic food or we use organic ingredients, if they claim that, then what is the proof? What is the proof that they are actually providing organic ingredients, they're actually preparing organic foods? What is that? FSSAI ka symbol is there for related to organic foods. If, for example, you buy food from an organic food vendor, you should make sure that the vendor from whom you're purchasing these ingredients or purchasing the raw materials, they should have the certification issued by FSSAI. If you proclaim that your food is organic, but you don't have any certification related to that, then there is no, there's no proof, right, that you're actually providing organic food. So this also has to be provided to the consumer if he requests for it. Now, let's come to the main point. Now, FSSAI has told very clearly that every menu for all the establishments that we saw earlier must contain this menu labeling. Now, if you have at least a bit knowledge of, nutrition calculation, which we might have done during menu labeling, right? If you don't know exactly what amount of the ingredient a particular food contains, you cannot calculate the nutrient value. It is so basic. It is very basic. So, when we talk about the nutrition calculation of a particular food item or a particular dish or a menu, first thing we have to do is standardization of the recipe. What is standardization? Standardization is the process by which we decide how much quantity of what ingredient must be added and at what stage of cooking in making the dish, right? The quantity, the quality, the stage in which the particular ingredient must be added. This whole process of creating an SOP, for SOP, standard operating procedure, correct? So standard operating procedure for a particular recipe, we call that process to be standardization of a recipe. Now, how do you do standardization? That is a big question mark, because this is very new to India. This process of, menu labeling and standardization, everything is very new to India. This you can do online or offline. There are custom made templates for standardization of recipes. The methodologies, the SOPs, the techniques, the equipments, all of these things must be proper before doing standardization. And also, the minimum level of training is at least required for proper standardization of a recipe. Correct. And after you do the standardization of the recipe, you have to calculate the nutrition value. If you're nutrition students, you might have done basic nutrition calculations using your IFCT tables, right? Indian food composition tables. Indian food composition is a book which is released by NIN in the year 2017. Earlier we had the like old version which consisted of less amount of foods. Now we have a very comprehensive table of nutrition data of different foods which are commonly consumed in India. These are the raw weight values, like raw food containing nutrition that we have. That using that you can manually calculate the nutrition information, or you can also use softwares like Nutrify India. You can use NutriCal, you can use DietCal. There is something called Falsol also now. So using these things also, you can calculate this nutrition value. But there are a few things which you have to keep in mind because it's a very new arena for in nutrition field. These are the few sample menus which FSSA has given. The left one that you see is how you have to display a menu at a restaurant, like the table normal menu card that we give it at the restaurant, no? So this is how that has to be presented. Whereas on the right side what you see is e-commerce platform. In Swiggy or Zomato, if the same like the list of organizations we saw, if they are going to sell their food on Swiggy or Zomato, they have to display the information like this. Like first on the user interface, the name of the dish, the cost of the dish, and also the normal description plus the calorie value. And if you please press a click down information, like if you can see here, there is written detailed nutrition information. If you click on that, this box should open, like how much quantity, how much energy, protein, calories and fat is present. And then how it has to be, the third point below which is given is even in buffets, like buffets where a different like array of foods are served and we can eat whatever we want. Over there also this display has to be given, even they are not exempted from this, right? Now we have seen a complete overview of what is menu labeling, where it is important, what are the rules and regulations, what is the law which says that and everything. Now, how will you do it exactly in real life when you actually go into a restaurant? How will you approach them? How will you standardize their recipes? How much time it will take? What are the softwares you should use? All those things together is what you will be learning in the paid course, which is going to start from April 10 to April 14. Over there only you're going to learn those things. Now a little bit of introduction about Nutri-labeling solutions. Nutri-labeling solutions, we do an array of services including nutrition assessment of the menu, product reformulation, labeling of menu items, food cost calculation, food cost manipulation, and also creation of analog recipes, existing menu revamping, like this different things we do. So in order to get this thing out, I am doing this as a part-time work. These are few of my clients who are based out of in different parts of Tamil Nadu in India. A few of them I have listed it down here. So now if you're also interested, right, in this, you can join the main course. But before that, if we see the job prospects related to this menu labeling, see, you can work as a nutrition consultant for all type of star establishments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star establishments, even in restaurants, even in health cafes, wellness cafes, in flight and railway catering, and also for clubs, canteens, recreation clubs, and also in retreats, different types of retreats in dhabas, in e-commerce platforms like this. Since now FSSA has made all these things mandatory, there is requirement for nutrition labeling, nutrition labelers, uh, culinary consultants, nutrition consultants for this kind of work. You can also work as a culinary nutrition consultant or a planner for different fine dining restaurants or also for wellness canteens, provided you have a very good knowledge of different cuisines also. just the knowledge of how to, standardize the recipe and give the nutrition value, that may not help you to the fullest. But if you have a very good knowledge of different cuisines, it can be Indian cuisines or it can be international cuisines also. If those information is available to you and you are good at that, you can work as a nutrition consultant along with being a culinary consultant also and planners. Plus, again, if you are very good in manipulating recipes, like if you're very good in manipulating a high fat, high calorie food into a low cat, low calorie food, then you can work as a recipe reformulation expert. These recipe reformulation experts are people who try to bring down the HFSS is nothing but high fat, sugar, and salt foods. These HFSS foods are not supposed to be sold to children in different parts, which is nearby to them. If you can manipulate the recipes, if you have the knowledge of recipe manipulation, then you can work as a recipe reformulation expert also. These are the different job prospects, if you ask me, related to menu labeling in the upcoming times. And also, if you see the future of menu labeling in India, it seems very promising, because as of now, for the following the institutions which we spoke, over there only it is mandatory, right? But if you see in India, the organized sector of FNB, it employs so many lakhs and lakhs of people. And those people who are employed in the F&B sector, they are not very good in their nutrition related knowledge, right? So when you combine the knowledge that you have on nutrition, food, and also a bit of business, there is a lot of opportunity which is, laying everywhere now, because it's very new. See, last year July only this has been made mandatory. Till now, many even big hotels and restaurants like ITC, or even, even in our Tamil Nadu, if you see Ananda Bhavan, they have so many branches. For them also it is made mandatory, but none of them they had started doing this work. One thing is because many are not aware. Second thing is that they don't get people who can do this work for them, right, who do it in a very systematic manner. So for them over there, there's a lot of opportunity, and the monetary benefits is also quite good. Like the money which is involved is also quite sizable. And moreover, there is this notion, right, in nutrition, MSc, if you have finished MSc or PG or whatever in nutrition, the work is very monotonous, like in hospitals or in wellness clinics. The work is very monotonous, like there is one day diet, you have to go, you have to, give information, advice related to that, and the day goes like that. But here, being a nutrition expert or culinary expert is a differently new thing. Like you'll be working for different establishments on different, time period. Maybe 1 or 2 months you'll work for one establishment, and you will jump to the next one. So the job is going to be completely non-monotonous, right? So these are the things when it comes to the future of menu labeling in India. Now coming to the course which is being organized in the next week, from April 10th to April 14th. 5-day class I'm going to organize, 1 hour session every day. So in this session, we'll be speaking about the sub-regulations. We'll be speaking how you can do menu standardization process, how you can calculate the nutrition value, how you can do the allergen and also additive labeling, actual labeling of menu items. We'll teach you a little bit of Canva software over here, and how you can do product reformulation with a few examples. So the course deliverables, if you see, you will be getting a course completion e-certificate. You'll be getting the standard recipe template which you can use to start working. You will get the nutrition calculation template. You will get study material which I use for the next from 10 to 14, whatever study materials I use, that also I'll provide you. And also the assessment and evaluation, like at the end, after you finish the course, after the assessment and evaluation is done, then only your certificate will be issued. Now, this 5-day course, it's actually 999 rupee, but till tomorrow, like March 31st, till March 31st, I have decided to keep the course at 50% off, that is 499 rupee. If you wish to join the course, you can message me on the number. I'll share the number with you, or else you can, I'm the admin of the group that you people have joined. Over there also you can message me, right? So what are the course deliverables? Recipe standardization template. You will get the recipe nutrition calculation template, study material which you can use for future reference also, assessment and evaluation, obviously the course completion certificate. The course completion certificate will be issued on behalf of Nutri Labeling Solutions. We are MSME registered, and I have worked for more than 6 or 7 brands related to this nutrition labeling. So if you are interested in this menu labeling expert course, you can message me on 79040154449. Now I'm open to questions. After the question and answer session is done, we'll be sharing the feedback form with you. Only those people who fill the feedback form will be getting the certificate of today's session. Okay, that you have attended, like the participation certificate for attending today's session. Those who fill the feedback form, only they will be receiving. But only after the question and answer session is done, then only we'll be sharing the feedback form link. Now, is there any doubt related to menu labeling or related to sub regulations or related to the course that we are going to offer? Any doubts, you can ask me. I'm here.
Hi, Kalaivani. This is Saranya.
Yes, 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 Saranya, please tell me.
Yeah. Can you see any standardization doing this? You are doing the standardization now. In that time, you will think about the food interaction also.
There's no need for calculating the interactions over here, ma'am, because the regulations ask for the nutrition calculation only.
Calculation is fine. But you think about the if you give any consultation about the food interaction also.
No, not exactly. It is not required for this.
Yes.
It's actually outside of the scope for menu labeling, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
So, yeah. Any other doubts, guys? Ma'am, actually, within the scope of this course, this may not be included, like the interactions which are there. But when you start working as a culinary consultant, there are a lot of wellness clinics which do ask if their the interactions which are present, like herb interaction or spice interaction, which is present in the food is correct or not. So in such a case, when you work as a culinary consultant, then it might include within the scope. But within the scope of menu labeling, it's not included. Hope
Because
this
you are
helps.
handling a lot of clients, no? Just I wanted to know. They are
That's
asking
why
the
it's
questions.
a few
The
people
food is
who are very
food in.
specific on on
Okay,
what
fine.
they give to the clients. So
Okay.
just for an example, there was this one establishment which was giving banana milk in, like they had that in their menu. So when we saw, it's not actually a very good combination when we speak from nutrition point of view, right?
Yes.
Potassium and giving high potassium and calcium at the same time. So there are a few people who give importance to that, but if it is a good selling dish for them, they'll not care about it. That is the point.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you. Any other doubts, guys?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
got a doubt regarding if we do the course of menu labeling, how to get
Yes.
the contact of this um, um, units who prepare the food or any star hotels, how to get those like as a clients, how to what is the way to get them as a clients, and how much do they pay, what pay we can expect, because I'm working with related to Nestle and all. So just want to have an idea about it, how is it going in the market.
Okay, so getting clients, like within the scope of the course, I'll not be teaching the marketing point of view of it, because still it is very unorganized. You have to enter the market through your references only. There is no one particular channel through which you can enter the market. Okay, so you have to enter places only through references. Even I have to do it like that only. That is the first thing. Second thing related to pay, it is about the negotiation, and it is also about the amount of work you do. Like if you say five-star establishments, they have their standardized recipe ready with them. So your job will only be to calculate the nutrition value, and you have to send the document to them. You will not be even going in person to their establishment to do the standardization or anything. So in such a case, obviously you will be charging less, because you will be sitting at your home using a software, calculating it, putting it in Excel and giving it to them. Right. But there are a few establishments who will ask for both standardization, who can even ask for product reformulation, recipe changes, everything. So depending upon the amount of service you provide, you can charge. And it is all with the negotiation also. So there is no fixed cost per se.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Shivani, related to the culinary consultant. Okay. Right. So related to the culinary consultant, if you see, this is a very loose kind of a field. There is no specific job specifications, descriptions or anything. But mostly it revolves around making changes to the dishes or menus, consulting on them. Like let's take an example of a health cafe. They might already be serving very good quality food, like a very healthy, good quality food. But what extra service you can give to them, maybe add a few extra dishes, or maybe write a very nutritionally, what to say, research based data you can use to write their food descriptions. Or you can give, again, you can give them the nutrition value, or you can use bit of what to say, adding extra things to their recipes. Like if their food, they have made a very good salad, but in the salad they don't have enough amount of maybe a nut, or maybe enough amount of fat. If it's not there, it may not be healthy, right? So you can do that little bit of addition to that. So it's very loose. The scope of a culinary consultant is very loose. Yeah, so scope of this labeling is that, see, in 2017, draft regulations were released saying that it is just voluntary. Like if you want to do, you can do. Like that FSSAI has told in 2017. Now we are in 2023. In 2022 itself, for most of the establishments, it's made mandatory. Okay, but till now, people have not started doing it because there's no much awareness. That is one thing. So in when if you remember, when FSSA registration was made mandatory, it took a bit of time for people to actually get registered. But now you cannot see, very rarely you can see establishments which don't have an FSSA say license, let it be a state license or central license or even a basic registration. At least something people have right now. So it will take a bit of time for this labeling also to pick up. But once when it picks up, there will be a lot of need for people who can do it in a very sophisticated and easy manner. Like there should be a proper step which has to be followed. So first you have to go talk to your clients, you have to understand their needs, then do a proper standardization, then use a good software to calculate it. It should be a reliable software. And if you know a bit of designing, it's going to be extra beneficial for you, like the actual menu designing process. So like these things, that is how the scope is going to be. You cannot guess like how big it is going to be, but it is going to be big. And there is a lot of chance that this labeling could be made mandatory for all establishments, like whether it is a standalone property or whether it is a state license, central license, no matter. If they are selling food, they have to give them any labeling. Like that also the law can change possibly in a few years. Okay. Any other doubts, guys? Welcome, Kabilan. Welcome, Shwani. Any other doubts? If you do have any doubts, I'm putting my number in the chat box. You can ask me. It's not necessarily if you want the course, not even if you just want to ask any doubt, you can definitely give me a message. Please don't call directly, you can message me anytime. Accordingly, if needed, we can have a call. Right? I'm putting my number in the chat box. If there's any doubt in the next 2 minutes, you can ask me, or else I'm sharing the feedback form with you. Think about job opportunity. That's what I told you now, na Kabil. Like it's going to be kind of a freelance opportunity. I don't think people will employ complete, like full-time employees for this menu labeling in restaurants, because it's going to be a one-time thing. You'll be working as a freelancing expert, like working for multiple places right at the same time. Like that only it will work, and you'll be keep on jumping establishments. As of now, if you're a student, you can start doing this as a part-time thing, as a student mainly, because it can give you additional income side by side, right? So in that way it's good. First to start, it's very good. So in the maybe 1 year or 6 months you work in it and you try to understand the market, then you can start doing it as a full-time work as a freelancer as of now. I'm sharing the feedback link with you people in the chat box. Please fill it. Once you fill the feedback form, within the next 4 days, we'll be sending you the awareness session certificate. But you have to fill the feedback form within next 10 to 15 minutes, because only people who have attended the live session, I'm giving the feedback form. It is not for everybody. People who have left the session before the ending, for them this is not going to be given. I'm going to keep the session open. Please fill the feedback form. Only for those who fill the feedback form, you will get the certificate within the next 3 to 4 working days. In the meantime, if you have any doubts, you can let me know. If you don't have any doubts, you have filled the feedback form, you can leave. Thank you, dear. Any doubts, I'm here. You can ask me. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Ritika. There will be a basic exam, of course, because it is not like you just come attend the session and you get a certificate. It shouldn't be like that, no. So maybe I'll the assessments that I'll be giving you will be very simple. Like maybe one more question maybe will be on assessment, and second might be nutrition calculation. The third might be designing a proper menu. It can be like that, but there will be definitely assessment, because I'm not interested in just giving certificate for money. You have to have the correct knowledge that you have gained and use that knowledge able to imply it in real life situations. Thank you, thank you. People who are interested, you can message me in this number. I have shared it already in the chat box.
Ma'am, how to know the chat box, ma'am?
I can't hear you, ma. Your voice is very low.
Ma'am, I did not see the feedback section. How to see this, ma'am?
I have sent it in the chat, ma. Kamish, you can message me on 790-4015-449. I'll give you the complete details.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Feedback form link I'm sending you once again. Just give me a minute. If you have filled the feedback form, you'll be getting the certificate in the next 3 or 4 days. If you have any doubts, you can ask me or else you can leave the session. Thank you. We'll close the feedback form by 8 o'clock, so please make sure to fill it.
Ma'am, I completed the feedback section.